what's going on, guys? AJ back here with another YouTube video for you. We're back out here in the shop finally. We got our gear back from 860, so we're gonna get that in the car today and hopefully have this thing on the ground so we can get it on scales and start measuring all our percentages and stuff. With the FZ, it's gonna probably take me a little bit longer to do setup just because of the 50-pound weight break they get. That spend a little bit more time moving weight around. So with that being said, we're going to get into getting the gear in this thing and everything put back in, axles, drive shaft attached. And then I got a couple things I gotta do on the front end just to get that settled, and then hopefully I get this thing on the ground. So hope you guys enjoy this video and we'll get into it. I'm gonna break up and kind of walk through how I put the axles in for the short one, just because I have seen a couple of videos of some guys who probably want to pull their stuff apart again, just because you should not have to smack your axles in with a hammer. It can lead to messing up the spline on either the axle or in the gear itself. You should not have to use a ton of force to get the axle in. Now when it comes to taking it out, it requires a little bit more force just because it's been sucked in there. But let me get the short axle around and I will kind of walk you through how easy it should go in the gear spline. Okay, so I got short axle here. I'm going to kind of demonstrate how easy it is to get these in here, or how easy it should be. Just because you should not have to use a ton of force, and that could cause issues during a race or during your next maintenance. You could find out that your axles are stripped. It could create a lot of issues. So really the most difficult part is going to be you just want to make sure you keep it off of the axle seal, because that could, if you mess up the axle seal, you're gonna have to put a new one in, which we just put new ones in, so I don't want to have to go through that again. So see, that just, once you line it up, it goes in super easy. And then I can see over here that both are spinning the same way, so I know my gear's good. So basically that's all to it. That's all the force you should have to apply to get the axle to set in the gear spline. Don't remember whose video it was exactly, but you definitely do not want to hammer these in because it's going to, again, like I said, it's going to mess up the spline and you're going to be fixing a lot of stuff down the road, potentially. Alright, so we'll get the rest of this on and then get some tires on it, and it should be ready to set on the ground and get ready to go on scales. Well, I was gonna get this thing on the ground tonight, but all my tires are flat. So without firing the air compressor up, I think we're probably gonna call that a night. I'll show you guys a couple things that I have done off camera. So we put a new radiator in this thing just because the tab right here was broke. I should be able to weld the tab back on it and have that as our spare radiator. And then we did put a new to us steering box in. Somebody was selling a couple old style steering boxes and that's what was in the sedan. So there shouldn't be a ton of difference in the new style versus the old style, at least in my opinion. So we got a couple of those. One is a backup, and put a new air filter on it as well. So we are going to be in the next video getting this thing on scales and whatnot. I'm not going to go super in depth on what I do when I'm on scales because I do want to keep some of my stuff to myself. But I will run through like what you want to do if you're trying to set up scales. So if you're interested in learning how to set up scales, if your shop's not flat like ours, let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know down in the comments if you liked kind of that explanation of how I put the axles in the spline. So like I said, you don't want to use a ton of force. You definitely don't want to beat it in there with a hammer because you're going to end up breaking an axle in the middle of a race or something. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. We're going to wrap up here in the shop and call it a night. Catch you guys in the next one.